Well, I started out, actually, my very first race was in a sprint car that I had bought from George Nestler. It was the championship car of some years before that of Larry Dixon. And I picked that up, and I saved all my money in Vietnam, believe it or not, and I bought that sprint car. I lasted 3 races, the motor blew on it, and that ended my sprint car career for a while. And then I went back to my TQs to get my experience, and from there I went into midgets.
And with the TQs, I know we know that you actually ran a car that the Monshine family actually ended up with later on, the Triumph number 9, right?
That's correct. I ran the Audi Boyd number 9, which was the one when he won the championship with Joe Kidd.
Mm-hmm.
And my cousin and I had bought it the previous year, and I started to run it, and then I got drafted into the service, and I went to Vietnam for a year. And then Jimmy kept running the car, and after that I ran for Audi Boyd.
And then you moved up and you hit the midget ranks, and that's where you really found your calling.
Well, that's true. Actually, my father was a sprint car driver for 30-some years, and he ran with USAC, he ran with AAA back then, and Tommy Hendershot's, all the greats. And you would think I would follow that, but like I said, I got hooked up with Audi Boyd, and we decided that midgets were a stepping stone, a better stepping stone, to go to Indianapolis for big time. So we pulled our money together, we bought a midget, and we started from there, and then we just kept on building up from there. And later on, I even drove once for Kenny Bren, which was the man at that time, and Ken Hickey. So I was very fortunate to have good rides all along.
The generations that you were able to race with, start with, the legends of our sport, the Len Duncans and the Dutch Schaefers, and who was your go-to guy? Who was your hero at the time, other than your dad?
Well, in midgets, it was Tommy McAndrews. He kind of took me under his wing, and he helped me out a lot when I started. Matter of fact, at one point at Langhorne, in his later years, he was a little leery about running 1 1/8 miles, and I did run that car that day. That was a championship car, and it was a USAC race. I think I got a 5th or a 6th that day, and that really opened up a lot. Actually, Ken Hickey asked me to run for him after that particular race.
Who was your favorite car owner that you ran for?
Well, Audi Boyd got me started, so he's right there on the top. And Mike Sheehan, of course, because I won so many races, and I won 2 championships with, one champion, I'm sorry, and Butch Kalin. Those 3 guys are really instrumental for me to really progress to where I wanted to be.
You had 2 championships with ARDC. Tell me a highlight of each of the years that you won a championship.
Well, the first one was with Butch, and we didn't win a lot of races. I think I won 2 races that year. And we just consistency. There was a couple of guys that were kind of beating us pretty steady, but we were very consistent. He had great equipment. It never failed, so naturally the points built up. But when I got hooked up with Mike Sheehan and Joe Grandinetti was really when we just clicked. It's one of those deals like a Jeff Gordon and Ray Everhead. We clicked. I clicked with Joe, and we just started to win races. We won. That's another ironic thing. My father holds the record in URC for 8 wins in a row, and I have the record in ARDC for 8 wins in a row of modern racing, not back in the 40s when they were running, 7 days a week. For what we call modern day racing, we won 8 races in a row.
Tell me what your favorite track was.
Oh, there's
dirt.
So many
Give me a dirt. Give me a pavement.
I like Grandview, to tell you the truth. Everybody does. For a midget track, that's probably the best. As far as asphalt, Thompson, Connecticut. It's just a fast racetrack, and I always like fast racetracks.
I know we're grateful to have you come from our stables, and me personally, I'm proud to call you a friend, and thanks for your time today.
Well, Carl, thank you. It was a pleasure. Thank you.
America lifts the curtain on a new sport, midget auto racing on a banked board track. It's a combination of the wall of death and speedway on 4 wheels as the gas buggy pilots blast their way round. But look out there on the far side.